Westcast.
Network. Now fix to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day. The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Last night, and we went to the fucking drive-through for fucking Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah, Dare Fun since 61.
Yeah, well, you know, I get high and go to Wiener Schnitzel, and the Hogan's Heroes image comes out.
Yeah.
So we're at the drive-through, we're like, Achtung! I want the Wiener Schnitzel! Make it fast, or you'll be sent to the Russian front! And all that shit.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. I'm Rivers Langley.
Hi, it's Pat.
This is going to man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Just drop the last name.
Yeah, I'm
just Pat now.
going one names.
Yeah.
This is you gotta experiment.
Yeah.
Experimentation.
The dark
is
side.
That's a bit too broad-minded for me, and you know, broad-minded is spelled S-I-N.
Yeah, so it's just us today.
We've been up for the past 18 hours.
Yeah.
Playing Mario 3, trying to beat it all the way through.
Yeah, without the game genie.
Yeah.
And without the benefit of the game genie.
We spent 7 hours trying to beat that damn ice level, and we feel like crap right now.
Yeah.
You know?
1 ton sack of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
The ice level's fun.
No, ice levels are never good.
Where you're
Ice
sliding
levels
around.
never good. Ice levels are never good.
The only thing I like less is air levels.
Yeah, they're pretty
But
bad,
remember
too.
the ones in like Ninja Gaiden where they had that wind and you had those tiny little platforms you had to land on and shit? That was like impossible.
Fire levels are pretty bad, too.
It was Mega Man it is.
Yeah, the only element that I like is Earth.
Yeah,
when it comes to
Earth
NES
is...
games.
Sometimes water is all right.
Well, it depends on if you're playing like Mario, where you can't die. Then yeah, they're great. But Sonic the Hedgehog introduces the realism of a drowning hedgehog.
That's very true.
Right?
I don't remember that.
Can't you die in?
Yeah, no, you have
in
to get
Sonic
under these little
when you go-
bubbles. When you bubbles, and then when he like goes over it, it sounds like he says Oprah. Imagine playing Sonic on cocaine. That has to be a hell of an experience.
Well, you know what the funny thing is? Sonic moved
Blow your
fast, but
mind.
the game didn't require a lot of precise controls at
No, it
first.
really
was just-
didn't. It really didn't.
It was almost like a glorified pinball platformer.
Yeah.
Well, until they made Supersonic Spinball.
Yeah, and then it was
Which that game
straight
was
up pinball.
Pretty bad.
Not nearly as fun.
Pretty
Remember
bad.
the kind of 3D, like isometric perspective Sonic that they made?
Yeah, we talked about that Sonic 3D Blast, where
Yeah.
they had a contest, and if you won, you got to go to Alcatraz,
Yeah.
and play Sonic 3D Blast,
Probably against Roddy Piper or something like that.
Yeah.
or Nicolas Cage. One of
Yeah.
them.
Escape from Alcatraz.
Shit, Clint Eastwood. Remember that one?
There you
That
go.
one was good.
4-player, Nicolas Cage, star of The Rock, Clint Eastwood, star of Escape from Alcatraz.
And Roddy Piper, star of the vignettes, training at Alcatraz
Yep.
to beat Hulk Hogan.
Yep, and some random kid at Alcatraz.
That really sounds worth it.
Yeah, actually,
That would be
would.
great,
That
yeah.
would be
Does
fantastic.
anybody actually ever win those kind of fucking contests?
I don't think so.
Like, you know that, like, you ever seen a banana, oh, that's a nice car you got. Yeah, I won it on a Snickers and shit. Because you get, like, the candy and shit, and there's all these rappers that are
Yeah.
promising, like, contests. Do you ever see anybody win any of them things?
The biggest prize I've ever won out of like a food item was in 1999 when Star Wars Episode 1 came out. They had these bags of Doritos, and inside there was like a little thing, and you could win usually free Doritos. But I pulled one out, and it was like, you won Jedi communicators. And I was like, oh, fuck, that's awesome, not knowing what it was. So I sent in the thing for the Jedi communicators. They came back, just walkie-talkies that said Star Wars on them.
But that's
still
cool.
pretty cool.
That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I don't actually remember them using communicators in the movies. At
The
any
only
point.
thing I ever
They got it on their, on their wrist. Like, they'll talk into their
That
wrist
was
and
Dick
stuff.
Tracy. But they had, like, mental powers, so they could just, like, die and communicate with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, having communicators is fucking stupid,
Yeah.
but they did have them.
I remember when Code Red Mountain Dew came out. My high school was so hard up for money that they would just give, like, whenever Pepsi would have new stuff,
They were like
they
sponsored
would
by
just
Pepsi.
give shit away, and you would just have everybody just drinking endless things of Code Red Mountain Dew, and just like walk into the bathroom and somebody just thrown up Code Red Mountain Dew all over the bathroom, which is horrifying.
Disgusting.
Paint the bathroom red. A buddy of mine, his dad worked for Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And would just bring home all of the expired sell-by Cokes, which you could still drink, maybe. We did. But he'd get all the weird stuff, the stuff that like I never ever actually saw on shelves. Like they had a mellow yellow watermelon that I never saw in stores. But the really fun thing was he would bring the expired 2 liters of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
And those were real fun to like shake up when you're driving.
Oh yeah,
toss.
I used to do that.
You throw them in front of your car and
Yeah,
they
it would
explode
jump up.
and they jump up and then
We used to do. Me and my friend used to do that. I had a friend of mine. My best friend had a Ford Explorer, and he just didn't give a shit about it. He would run over porta potties, garbage cans, whatever, and that was the big thing. We would throw 2-liter things of like Czech soda,
Yeah,
the nasty
get the
Czech
Winn-Dixie,
flavors, like peach flavor and stuff like that.
That's why my dad shops at Winn-Dixie.
Yeah.
Because Diet Czech has so many options.
Oh God, Czech is so bad.
The Java sodas.
Yeah, and it's like, and they just have bad flavor.
Country Mist, which I always found hilarious, spelled Kuntry.
Yeah.
Come on,
Country
just add an
Mist.
O in there. Make me happy.
My favorite one was Albertson's version of Dr. Pepper was Mr. Bold.
Mr. Bold?
Mr. Bold.
Oh, there was a lot of there was like Mr. Lightning and Dr. Lightning,
Dr.
and
Wham.
Dr. Rocket. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Well, Mountain Lightning was the Sam's Choice version of Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew, yeah.
But my friend John Duke and I used to do this thing where we would at our college there were a lot of parking decks because it was over near the CDC. So they had everybody that worked at the CDC parking these parking decks that were right by the school. And we used to go over to Kroger and get the 3-liter bottles of just like the cheap closeout soda. Big K closeout, citrus drop, all that stuff.
Oh, citrus drop.
Yeah, there's another.
Awful.
Yeah, another Mountain Dew ripoff. We'd shake them up, and we'd just drop them off of the parking deck and see how far they'd bounce back
That
up.
was the citrus drop.
Yeah, exactly. It was the citrus drop.
That's
the
why
best
they called it that.
Yeah, the best we got was like 4 stories up. It just hit the bottom perfectly and just shot right back up, and we got citrus drop in our face, and we were like 6 stories up. We were idiots.
That's impressive soda, though. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. A lot of carbonation in it.
Yeah, well, there was like a guy in my hometown, the guy, like everybody, he sold cigarettes to kids.
Yeah.
That was his thing.
Yeah.
He would just hang out. He'd play, not World of Warcraft, mind you, Warcraft, first one from 1992 or whatever, would just sit there and play that all day and drink bottles and bottles of citrus drop.
We knew this.
It was gross.
Oh, my God. We knew this guy named Mike. He was staying at my friend's place. My friend bought a house, and he couldn't really afford the house, so he just had all of his friends move in, and he charged rent for the rooms. And one guy moved in. It was this random guy. I don't know how anybody knew this guy. His name was Mike, and he worked for TSA. And he was obsessed with World of Warcraft. And he had a girlfriend that he met on World of Warcraft. Never met her in person. Just his girlfriend from World of Warcraft are in the same
I have a
guild.
friend who met his wife on Neverwinter Nights.
Oh my God. And
Yeah.
he would play World of Warcraft constantly. And when he got laid off, originally he was going to be a fireman, and it didn't work out for him. And between that spell of fireman and TSA, he would play World of Warcraft 20 hours out of the day.
Wow.
He put his bed up against the wall because he would sleep on a towel because the bed would throw off his World of Warcraft schedule. And he would drink. I walked into his room one time, and it was just littered with 2-liter bottles of Mountain Dew. He would do nothing but drink Mountain Dew. He would drink Mountain Dew, eat like 3 protein bars, go outside.
Pee in a Pringles can.
Yeah, pee in a Pringles can. And then just like go outside and work out for like 45 minutes, lift weights vigorously, and then go back to play 20 hours of World of
Jesus.
Well, you
Warcraft.
think about it, he really was living the dream.
He really was. He really
Because
was.
if you're living the life you want to lead, you know what I'm saying? If you want to love me, love the life I lead.
Yeah.
And if that's what you want to do with your life, I mean, just America. He's living an American dream.
If that seems
Can you
weirdly
pee in a Pringles can?
well, if it seems weirdly specific,
It hasn't been
it's because
peed in before.
I did it once. I was in college, didn't want to walk all the way down the hall to the bathroom, and I just had an empty Pringles can, fills
Well, no,
up
see,
right
that's,
nicely.
That's why you always save one of the McDonald's cups.
Yeah.
That you get like the big Coke or the sweet tea in.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
You wake up somebody else in the toilet. You just pissing out. They go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I hope nobody drinks it by the time you wake
Yeah,
up.
my freshman year, I lived on the 4th floor, and so I peed in the Pringles can and then just
I'd
kinda
rather pee in a
tossed it out the
Pringles
window.
can than use a dorm bathroom. My God.
The best thing I saw was I walked in there one night, and there were 2 men standing in there. One had his pants down around his ankles, and the other was gently shaving his ass. Just on his knees like you would proposing, just gently, just shaving another man's ass. And I was like, I hope they're on the swim team.
I was
you
going
know?
to say, but they probably are on the swim. You know,
Yeah.
you need the
No, they're not on the swim team.
They're just that's just love.
ass shaving.
No, there's a big subset of because I remember this from high school. The guys that used to just shave off all their body hair, and I think that's a thing for like just bros or something. Like
they
that,
didn't have that shit when I was coming up.
Did you stay in the dorms at the ag?
The ag, yeah, sometimes, you know, with my pet pig and shit like that. We had all kinds of shit coming through. I had a pig. I called him Arnold Ziffel and shit like that. I mean, shit. Sometimes you might get a cow up there,
Yeah.
even, or at least a goat.
Well,
or
it's
one of
like
the small animals.
Lord Byron
Yeah.
brought a bear
Yeah.
famously to college because they wouldn't let him bring his hunting dogs, so he just brought
Oh,
a
there
bear.
was a lot of dogs just sitting around everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could piss. That was a great thing. You could just piss on the carpet and blame it on them. So you never had to go for a Pringles can.
I just can't.
I learned nothing about agriculture though in all those years. Nothing. I just ended up getting high and shit. Because
Well,
what's botany?
what's agricultural college about other than getting high and listening to Soundgarden? Because I don't care what school you went to. It was the '90s. You understand?
Yeah, you're learning botany. You're learning about gardens, specifically sound gardens.
I'm still perplexed by the peeing in a Pringles can. I thought the pee would go through the Pringles can because it's.
No.
If it hasn't been peed in before, but if
Yeah.
you keep peeing in it,
Yeah,
then it's
fresh
going to
Pringles
weaken.
can.
Because it's just stiffened cardboard, really.
Well,
Was
it's
it-
different
was
cardboard,
it
but
the
it's
pizza
got the silver lining, the aluminum foil lining.
The silver linings are always the best.
Yeah, exactly.
The silver linings are always the best. We had.
Silver lining piss cup.
Yeah.
But
my
you know,
autobiography.
you know what I'm saying? I think the pizza Pringles, the pizza.
Yeah.
I do not like those.
I don't
because
like 'em
You
either.
eat like more than 2 or 3 of them, they don't taste like pizza no more. They just taste like a Pringles flavored mush.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's kind of all Pringles,
Yeah.
though. You can't
Except
really,
for the salt and vinegar. The salt and vinegar holds it. But-
Although they do have my favorite flavor of anything, which is screaming pickle.
I do not like when snack food went extreme. I
Yeah.
do not need that shit. And you go into the filling station, it's like 4 in the morning, you want to get a snack. I do not want my Fritos and my Funyuns and all this to be like jalapeno flavored because it's just going to give me an indigestion in the middle of the night. There's way too much flaming hot snack food on the West Coast. There really is.
No.
Have you ever had the Tijuana Mama?
Wait a minute, is this a food or a person?
It's it's like the pickled hot dogs that they sell in gas stations in the South.
Oh, the red ones?
The red ones, yeah. Tijuana Mamas.
I've seen them. I've never had the.
They're the
guts
most
to eat one.
disgusting things ever.
Yeah.
You know, they.
And I would always buy them when I was 12 on like concept. It was just a concept. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like a hot dog,
Yeah.
but I can eat it whenever and it's hot and it just tastes like I've never
Garbage.
I've never ingested pee before, but I'd imagine that's
I
what
shit
pee
you
is
not.
like.
I've made sandwiches out of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I would get a few of them and put them in like a roll or something and make a sandwich out of it.
I mean, you could work in a pinch, you know.
Wow.
Is it just like a giant Vienna sausage?
Yeah.
That's what I imagine.
But it does have a kind of like pissy, vinegary.
Yeah.
Like, taste.
Yeah.
It's like it kind of has the
And
only
sometimes
thing,
they get like a red hotness to them.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. The only thing that I've ever eaten that remotely resembles the taste of that is menudo.
Yeah.
Like
Is that
menudo
what
has
menudo
a
tastes like?
yeah, it has that similarly like because there's so much tripe in it and stuff like that that it has this
And there's
very
so many
sort of
abused Puerto Rican kids.
yeah.
I worked at a gas station, so I had to basically I was looking for a job. I decided I wasn't going to do subs. I was done being a substitute teacher, and it was also summer, so I was looking for a place to work. And I walk into this gas station. On the door it says like now hiring, and there are 2 guys in there just fucking kicking it. Like
Yeah.
there's no one in there. It's the middle of the summer. It's air conditioned. They're leaning back. They literally have their feet up on the counter, and they're both playing each other on Game Boy DS and shit, just chilling. And I was like, fuck, this is where I want to work, man. So I applied there. And then a week later, they called. They're like, oh, yeah, we're from that gas station. If you still want a job. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, man. And they're like, yeah, well, we're not hiring at the one you went to. You're actually hiring at this other one. And the other one's out on the Birmingham Highway.
Yeah.
And there's, it's,
Real customers.
oh my God.
Was it air conditioned?
Barely. And I was
Oh,
standing next to
man.
a deep fryer the whole time because it was one of those gas stations like it's not a thing out here really, but down south they'll have the gas stations where it'll have a deli, and by deli they mean they've fried
deep fryer.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. A deep
Catfish.
deli equals deep fryer. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I was standing next
Nothing
to
delicate about that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, not at all. And I was standing next to a deep fryer, and I think I was probably 23 at the time. The two ladies I was working with were both older than God. Like, they were ancient.
Always.
And their names were Dorothy and Murtis.
Yeah.
And I talk about this on stage, too, but it's true. The last day, I only worked there for 5 days. The last day,
Surprised you made it that long.
it was harsh, man. And the last day, I was just like, dude, I'm done. So I told Dorothy at the beginning of the day, I'm like, all right, I'm done. And she was just like, well, you got to finish out your shift. And I was like, that's fine, I understand. And she's like, well, I'm leaving at 3:00, and Pete's coming in. And I was like, oh, I haven't met Pete. And she's like, yeah, Pete's our night guy. He's a good man. He's a Christian man, but he's also an eccentric and a drunk. I was like, all right. Pete had a glass eye. But he was great, man. And he told me this wild-ass story about him. He's from Chicago, walking down the street, and some guy pulling up next to him and asking him if he needed a job. And he's like, no, I'm cool. And just kept walking. And then he goes like, yeah, 2 years later, that fucker showed up on the news. It was John Wayne Gacy. I was like, whoa. This
awesome.
dude was almost picked up and murdered by Gacy.
Was Pete one of those guys that whenever someone would buy something during the night shift, he would be like, oh, you were buying libations, pleased to do you service,
Man, I hate when they fucking talk to you, man.
Yeah.
Just
See,
leave me
Pete-
alone and bring up my shit.
Pete was the exact opposite. Like, he would talk to me, he would talk to his employees, but as far as like work to, like, thank you, how I got everything, like that, he did yell at a girl because she came in, she was like, this pump isn't working, and she was like kind of snappy at him, and he's just like, maybe if you read the goddamn directions, the pump would start working, you dumb fuck.
Because there would
He
always
like ran her out.
Because where I lived, there was always like this one guy that worked at the 7-Eleven. He had like a skullet. He was like 20, but he had a skullet, and he would just be like, "Oh, I see that you are purchasing some smokuses, king size for a real king like yourself." And it's like, just that burnout, like
that guy,
Mitch Hedberg, but shitty.
That guy in my town worked at Taco Bell.
Okay,
yeah, because he would like, you'd pull up and he'd be like, one bean burrito bereft the benefits of tomato, like that, or whatever. Like,
kind of sounds like Fred Schneider. So.
Yeah.
Did y'all have the dumb guy?
I only have
like,
3 voices.
No, just not the sound of the voice, but just it sounds like a B-52.
Just in the cadence.
Did
Yeah.
y'all the dumb guy with like the mullet, the baseball cap, and like the Dirty Sanchez mustache that would work at like the gas station at night? And he just like, all right, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's go cigarettes, man. Yeah.
That was a good deal. I saw that guy at the national championship game. I was walking around. That guy you're describing, who works at my local gas station, was like, "Hey, Rivers, what's up, man?" It was just out in fucking Pasadena.
Damn, they
He's
get
out there
around.
for the game. Yeah.
Hitchhiker, this girl I was gonna meet on the internet.
Yeah. No, actually, he goes, when I saw him, he was doing that thing where, somebody's so drunk and they like kind of pull you close and they're talking way too fucking close to your ear.
You're my best friend.
And he was just, and he goes, he's like, hey man, when, sometimes when you're, you're alone. And I was like, and I made the international symbol of jacking off, and he goes, no, what, no.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel.
Yeah. And he was just like, no, when you're alone, and then people just give you alcohol. Like, that's what happened to me. I was like, oh, okay.
No, I don't. Where do I sign up to that?
Oh, you got to go to the tailgate, man. You got to go to the Rose Bowl.
I was just being introspective at the tailgate party.
Oh, he was at the Rose Bowl.
That's what I was saying.
I wondered what the hell was going on. That he was just at his house and he had a knock on the door.
Yeah,
and like
a knock
Santa
on the
Claus
trailer
came in
door.
with some old turkey or something.
There was this girl that I met on OkCupid.
Yeah, they always
And
meet.
I wanted to meet her. I talked to her on
and then they're like, are you going to North Carolina? Maybe I can get a ride. They always want to ride from you like really far and shit. And it's like, you're just some guy that's at the gas station.
There's this girl I met on the instant messenger chat rooms, and I won't meet her over there. She said that she's hot, and she sent me photos. She looked completely different.
They've cloned that guy.
Yeah.
And he works all over the place at the gas station.
He's everywhere.
I just can't meet any girls at church, so I just went on IM, and she said she's going to be at the Rose Bowl.
Chris Hansen, what are you doing here?
Oh, man. No, I personally like Smirnoff Ice. There's nothing girly about it.
My favorite part of To Catch a Predator is the guy who his defense was like, no, I was just going to teach him about how wrong this kind of thing is. Well, second only to the guy who just walks in naked. He's the best.
Yeah, that one was good. The one that I liked was the one that looked like sounded like Ray Romano. He looked like Ray Romano. And he was just like, put the beer in the fridge. Why don't you put the beer in the fridge? Yeah, man, you are a good-looking boy. Put the beer in the fridge. And he was like, and then he was just like, I was just driving down to AC and I got lost, and he would put the beer in the fridge. We got letters to good night, actually.
Yeah, sending your mail. It's an overload. It's just been coming in.
It was
by
such
like
a big hit last time.
Yeah, I've become like Santa Claus or some shit.
And if you got anything you want to ask good night or any of us, you can find us on Twitter at The Goods Pod, Facebook.com/The Goods Pod. Yeah,
let's do this.
Yeah, because Gmail. If you're feeling alone, I can help. You understand? I'm happy to help all them lonely people out there.
Yo, good night. I've been arguing with my roommate about this for a while. And we've had a couple of fistfights over this. What is the best song to take a dump to? I say that it's The Stroke by Billy Squier.
Not a bad one.
Oh, wow.
My roommate says that it's Hotel California. We have a 6-pack of Steel Reserve Tall Boys and 6 packs of Hubba Bubba riding on this. Eric Pfeiffer, Atlanta, Georgia. Now, that's a very good question.
All right.
What is they say it's The Stroke by Billy Squier. The other guy says it's Hotel California. The problem is that they think that there's only 2 good songs to take a dump to.
Well, first of all, and I know this is a good night's question, but I'll just real quick.
I want to open up the panel because one of the things I was going to say is that I think it's a subjective thing.
It is subjective, but Hotel California is never the answer.
Yeah, well, it's long.
That's true.
And if you're really on the toilet just grinding, you understand, just doing a Macho Man trying to get it out, that solo is a good way to try to squeeze one. Like when they're doing like the harmony guitars, and you can just kind of groan. It's a little bit constipatory, I have to admit. But everybody is different.
You had one, Rivers.
Yeah, Rivers. What do you got?
I mean, I think, Come On, Feel the Noise.
Come on, feel the noise.
Quiet Rider's always a little bit orgasmic when you finally drop one out, and it's like, get wild, but it feels like the first time you ever made love. Me, myself, though, I'm a little bit old-fashioned. Yeah. I like sort of like a smooth sort of lounge-type jazz music, like maybe some Henry Mancini stuff. We're talking like, wood paneling lounge kit.
Yeah, Stan Getz. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, a little bit of Stan Getz.
Stan Getz with the samba, the jazz samba.
Yeah, if, you put on some Stan Getz, maybe some Autumn Leaves or something like that, you can take a really pretty shit. It's almost too pretty to shit, dude.
I wrote down 3.
Okay. Rapid succession.
Simply Irresistible by Robert Palmer.
Oh, yeah.
Simply Irresistible has that, like... And then that sound, it's like...
Yeah.
Sound effects are really good for a duty.
Yeah, again, that 80s thing where it was almost like a Simply Irresistible. Bam, bam, that kind of crashing stuff.
Simply irresistible.
Which so like The Boxer by Simon and Garfunkel.
That's
no.
No, because there's nothing more lonely than being on like a bus station toilet at like 1 in the morning.
Just a poor boy.
No, when you get to
my story
the trumpet solo in the middle. It sounds almost like the Olympic theme. That is just lonely.
And very much in the Simply Irresistible direction. Any 80s ZZ Top songs are very good to take a dump to.
Oh, you can kind of crap out on the beat on those things. It's like diarrhea coming out there.
Yeah.
We can say that on the air, right?
Yeah.
No Easy Way Out by Robert Tepper. from Rocky 4. Any Rocky song is good for it,
find
but not the classic Rocky songs. I'm talking about like the Rocky 3, Rocky 4. You said it's subjective, so I'd say Robert Tepper is No Easy Way Out because it has that very like we're not indestructible.
The other one I thought of, and it's long. There's this song from Bruce Springsteen album that came out in 2009 called "Working on a Dream," and the first track is called "Outlaw Pete," and the shitting part is where he goes.
There's a lot of constipation.
But the thing about Outlaw
Springsteen.
Pete, the first fucking thing I noticed when you listen to it, you're like, oh my god, he stole this melody from "I Was Made for Loving You" by Kiss. It's the exact fucking same that. It's that melody.
Not a bad shit song.
Here's the problem, though.
The Sign by Ace of Base.
That is a good mid-90s kind of shit.
Yeah. No, that's like one you go to like a Bally's Total Fitness or something, and you sneak into the back and use the restroom.
See, the Ace of Base's The Sign is a really good poo song because it's outside of that. The rest of that genre was very hard. Like Hadaway's "What Is Love." You can't poop to that.
What is love?
You can't poop to "Rhythm Is a Dancer."
Rhythm is a dancer, it's a soul's companion.
You can't poop to LaBouche's "I Want to Be Your Lover."
Yeah.
All those songs you can't poop to, but The Sign, you can take a hearty poop to "Return of the Mac" though. Obviously, we haven't mentioned any of these songs. Who wins between this wager? Obviously, there are two suggestions. There's not a best one, but what's a better pooping song? "The Stroke" by Billy Squier or "Hotel California" by the
All
Eagles?
of the Stroke, anything Billy Squier.
Go Billy Squier.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're really feeling cool, you can kind of try to dump on the beats if you listen like "Everybody Wants You" or something like that.
Yeah.
But maybe put on a top hat and pretend you're one of the fabulous ones taking a shit.
Although, a good place to like for the wind down would be the part where it's like, but they just can't kill the beast. Yeah, Bum, 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 bum. That's the staccato stuff we're talking about.
But I think we learned something here is that, life is a rich pageant, and taking a shit.
Life's Rich Pageant by
Yeah.
REM.
Yeah,
Great
exactly.
shit record.
Thank you, Eric, for the letter.
Thank you, Eric.
Hey, Daddy. My name is Aaron, and I'm 16 years old. There's a girl named Olivia in my chemistry class. I have a huge crush on her, but I don't know how to ask her out because I'm rather awkward. I'm shy. Since you're an international lover and the women's pet, how should I do this? Thanks, Aaron Wallace, Mankato, Minnesota. What do you suggest?
Okay, here's what I suggest, Daddy. You go up to Aaron and you say, "Hey, on how about you come over to my place and we watch some children Christians educational television?" You take her over to your place, you sneak a couple of like Coors Golden Banquets from your daddy or something, and then halfway through the Gospel Bill show, you start saying she got pretty legs or something like that. By the time that you're on the filling station, you might be at second or third base yet. And the great thing is when you're 16, is even first base is home run. So that's what I recommend.
So which Christian broadcasting station should they watch?
Smile of a Child Network.
Okay.
I know it
Trinity
sounds like
Broadcasting,
it is a substation
Ward.
because it is hard to. If Jen Crouch comes on the TV, that's gonna kill your boner. Like if you picture a latter day Tammy Faye, that's what Jen Crouch looks like, and of course Paul Crouch looks like my dear late Uncle Tony. So that makes it hard to concentrate. But you find one that has the children's television, which is the Smile of the Child Network, and we're talking about at night when they show the good stuff like the Gospel Bill show, not shit like VeggieTales and all that, not fucking MacGee and Me. Although you can get laid to MacGee and Me.
Oh,
Do they play,
shit. I've seen some McGee and Me.
I know you have.
Oh, my God.
You're a McGee and Me type, River.
McGee and Me.
Yeah.
When they had one where I think they have to fight a bear, maybe. McGee, like, chases off a bear.
I don't remember that particular episode, but
Yeah.
there's
Holy
a lot.
Shit, that takes me back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And again, nowadays, you get them high, you get them drunk, you watch a little bit of Christian television, you get busy. I, for one, my favorite make-out stuff for television is actually PBS Kids. But it's kind of awkward because they always have these segments with real-life kids in between the cartoons, which can be something of a boner killer. It makes you feel kind of a little too much like a pervert, you understand? With that shit going on when you're trying to make love. But, you got your children's educational television, you got your PBS Kids, And you got your Flintstones, and any lady that's out there is invited to come with me anytime and watch this stuff. And, if it's like, you come over to my place, ladies, we'll watch Curious George together. And I ain't guaranteeing that something going to happen, but if it does, just blame it on the monkey, honey.
Yeah. Getting high, you and watching.
Getting high, you watching Caillou, you understand? I've got my brother in it now. He's watching Caillou with me.
Really?
Yeah. He comes over and it's like, I can't stand this kid. I can't stand this kid. He's such a whiny brat.
All right, so
Caillou's all about the Caillou theme song. It's very good shit music. The Caillou theme song. I'm just a kid of 4. I like to shit some more. Aaron,
Wallace.
yeah, get over the shyness with a little bit of snuck alcohol. Yeah, there's a little bit of shame and regret now, but when you're on your deathbed, you and her will both look back at it as the happiest days of your life.
And it's Smile the Children Network.
Smile of a Child Network, but you might have a local affiliate that probably makes you feel like less of a creep actually watching it.
Yeah.
Because
So,
when even I feel like a creep watching shit, that's low. You understand? That is low.
So would Trinity Broadcasting Network work?
It depends on whether or not they're running chillin' shows.
Okay.
Because again, if you see like Jen Crouch on there, it is really hard to get yourself, enthused. If you know what I'm saying. If you have to look at her horrifying face, I mean, like a gorgon of old. You understand?
If he feels weird about watching children's television, is there anything that you'd suggest?
This is children's Christian television. Like back in the day, all right, back in the day when it was cool, so yeah, watch MTV or something. But MTV is like, if you're watching MTV now, it's like douchebag television.
Okay.
So, you have to find like interesting things. You have to find
How
something.
about the Weather Channel?
No, see, the girl has to find this non-threatening. So you say, oh, let's go and watch some church shows and shit like that.
Okay.
But, I mean, who's going to sit there and watch the weather? Although I do love the music on
Yeah,
the weather
that's what I
channels.
was about to say,
Yeah,
music.
it's good fucking music. It's good shit music. I love weather music.
No, because I remember distinctly on one of the old Bill Simmons mailbag things that somebody said, is it just me, or is the music that they play at the local weather section of the Weather Channel the same music they played in Cinemax softcore porno movies?
The thing, I think...
Like 90s wrestling themes from WCW?
Yeah, some of those show up in porn. Slapnuts recognized that he was watching this old porn and it had the primetime wrestling theme in it.
I was watching the History Channel and they were like, Julius Caesar's march on the city of Rome, and they're playing Goldberg's theme. For real.
Julius Caesar's march the serum.
Self high five.
I thought they were gonna. I thought they were gonna play.
Bang!
I thought they were gonna play Basketball Highlights number 42, the Chris Jericho theme song, the one that was like.
All right. The worst songs ever for a basketball highlight reel. God by John Lennon. In the year 2525 by Zager and Evans. and Black Sabbath by the band Black Sabbath. Oh God, help me! Boom, boom, boom. You will never see slam dunk footage on your Sports Center with this music.
But it'll be great for the.
Let's get the highlight for the Lakers. Mama, don't leave. Papa, don't go.
Oh. Thank you, Aaron, for your letter.
Aaron, you're wonderful.
Don't believe in Hitler. Don't believe in Jesus. I don't believe in Kennedy.
All right, so here's the next letter. Hey, sexy.
Oh, okay.
that's
I
a
get
good
a
start
lot
for-
of that. So who is this one again? Is this
My-
my grandma? Is that Nana up there?
No, close. My name is Lana.
Oh.
I think that you have to be the sexiest man to ever walk on this earth.
I think you have to be the most perceptive woman to ever walk on this earth. So we're a pair, really.
What does a lady like me have to do to be your number one? Also, you keep saying that you live on Sepulveda.
Yeah.
Where is that? XOXOX Lana Z, El Paso, Texas.
Well, she down in that West Texas town of El Paso.
Uh-huh.
All right, honey, I'll tell you this way. All you got to do, you want me to just think serious, you come out to Sepulveda, which is longest boulevard in the city and county of Los Angeles. You come out to Sepulveda or something, if you want to make it happen, if maybe you look like Penny from Lost in Space, or something like this, you know, one of them kind of girls like that you can really sink your teeth into. You get together with me, you know what I'm saying? We'll go listen to Marty Robbins together.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have a little bit of moonshine or something like that. And then, you know.
Probably go to Redondo.
Oh, man. Making love on the pier at Redondo, that's actually nasty because it smells like fish everywhere there. But underneath it, maybe. But no, we'll have good times together. That's the point.
But
we will
what
have
does
good
she
times.
need to do?
What does she need to do?
Outside of just go to Sepulveda.
Pretty much show up and don't say no, and it's gonna happen from there because at some point I'm gonna try to make some kind of move. You understand? Life is short. Don't spend your life waiting for a moment that just won't come, like Springsteen say.
Right.
So yeah, just show up, honey. God knows the things I could show you. The Redondo Beach Pier at night, for example. Hollywood wrestling up in Oxnard. There's another thing you could do or some shit like that. But yeah, honey, if you want to get up with me, all you pretty much got to do is come see Goodnight and say, hey, I'm up for it. Because, I mean, we'll find something to do, you know, and I hope you like Smile of a Child Network or the Flintstones or something like this, or Ed and Eddie. You know, Lost in Space. Maybe we want to make love watching the best of Starcade. You know, I have all these videos. If you want to do it, you know, and maybe my brother's out of town and I can use his house, which is bigger, you know, and we can have the two dogs with us, you know, Poochie is sleeping on the floor and Wiggles probably whacking you with his tail or something when he's sitting there trying to lick us, you know, when we're getting busy.
All right.
It's always a three-way with Wiggles.
Oh, I don't know what to make of this. Hola, senors. I have a bone to pick with you, hombres, especially Mr. Goodnight. This cabron, Mr. Goodnight, has stolen my gimmick. Me, Senor Buenos Noches.
Oh,
has
this motherfucker.
Me, Senor Buenos Noches, has traveled the shit kicker bars and cantinas all over New Mexico, performing, prancing, romancing the chicas. I challenge you, pendejo, Mr. Goodnight. Respond. Face to face, cara a cara. I'll kill you.
Oh, somebody's
Comer
got out the
mierda, Senor Buenos Noches.
All right, let me
Truth
say
and
this.
Consequences of
All right,
Mexico.
Senor Buenos Noches is my ostensibly Mexican evil identical cousin. And despite the fact that he is technically Mexican, I had a Mexican about the only Spanish he knows is from watching Muzi cartoons. Remember those?
Was he?
Yeah, he was that big green monster.
Je suis
Yeah.
la Juvie.
Je suis la Juvie.
Yeah, I turned him on. Muzi. I turned his ass on to Spanish through the Muzi cartoons. I turned his ass on to novellas. I turned his ass on to like Musica Ranchera. He was listening to fucking Morrissey nonstop. That's it.
Yeah.
I done made that boy. He just goes around. He steals my bits. You understand? And he translates them into Spanish. He's like the fucking what's his name?
Gallagher, too.
No, that other motherfucker.
Carlos Mencia.
Yeah, he's a Carlos Mencia, Mr. Goodnight. He runs around.
I've seen Senor Buenos Noches.
He's
and
handsome.
He was,
I will give him that. He is
was
very
but
handsome.
He was quite an ass. He was
an asshole.
a horse's ass.
He was a jack off.
Burrow, please.
Burrow doesn't that mean butter?
No, it's donkey.
Oh, that's Italian. I was thinking, which it is butter.
Yeah.
Because what is butter in Spanish? Mantequilla or something?
I don't know. I just know burro. And burrito means a little donkey.
The point is, this boy, and I'm going to call him boy, he comes around, he steals my gimmicks. He wishes he was Mr. Goodnight. He wishes he had the sexiness that I have. He wishes he had the taste and the flavor and was just so sweet and just so pretty as me. He is a good-looking man, you understand, but he doesn't know how to use it. I taught that boy everything he knew. He was siphoning gas before I met him. And now he walks around like he's a 25,000 peso man or some shit, getting arrested at night in Arizona and shit like this. That
Yeah,
boy,
I heard he was writing bad checks and saying that he was you and they were coming back to you or something.
Yeah,
like
and then,
that,
but
yeah.
see, the thing is, everybody knows Mr. Goodnight knows I don't write checks. You understand? Because you need a bank account to do things like that. And I keep my money in a sock that I keep in a little Castle Grayskull that I have under the bed. This boy done takes my shit and he gives a little bit of a Latin twist, you understand, to try to pick up the Latin ladies. He's not picking up Latin ladies, you understand, but I understand why he'd be picking anything at all up, because he is a very handsome person.
Well, I think
exactly
you guys
identical
should
to
have
me.
a hair versus mask comedy battle.
We probably should.
Ooh, yeah.
But Mr. Goodnight's hair ain't going nowhere, you understand? This hair is too beautiful. It would be a crime. It'd be a crime to get... Seriously, I have Samson-like locks. Custer-like locks. I should dye my hair blonde in memory of the late Shirley Temple, because she was a big inspiration on Mr. Goodnight. People say, Mr. Goodnight, you might want to be Smokey and the Bandit, or Mr. Goodnight, you watch the wrestling, you want to be Jimmy Valiant or Dusty Rhodes, something. No. Mr. Goodnight wants to be the adorable curly top. Mr. Goodnight wants to be Baby Take a Bow. Mr. Goodnight wants to be the little colonel. That kind of shit. Mr. Goodnight is just Shirley Temple with a lot more hair and shit like that. Because when you're sweet and when you're as pretty as me, you understand?
And a hell of a diplomat you
exactly. And a hell of a diplomat. I should have been born a little girl and just been a little girl forever. Because that's how sweet and how pretty and just how much sugar I am. I'll give you diabetes or some shit. And this boy decides he's going to do my shit, but he's going to do it in an ethnic kind of way. And I had to teach him all the ethnic stuff. This boy had never seen one Vicente Fernandez movie. This boy had never seen an episode of El Chavo del Ocho, let alone El Chalupa in Colorado. This boy knew nothing about Taia or Marimar or Maria La del Barrio. Never seen an episode of Christina, if you will. Never. Until I turned him on that shit. So if you're out there listening, boy, Mr. Buenos Noches, we know you've been talking smack, Jack, but we know what the real deal is. It's right here, brother.
We should have a showdown. Right
We
here.
should have a showdown.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Senor.
Yeah, fuck you, Buenos Noches. Seriously, man. I am like the prime beef or something like this. And you're like the little hot dogs. You get the pickled hot dogs at the gas station.
All right, so those are our letters. Right in.
Well, yeah.
And Senor Buenos Noches.
Buenos Noches.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
Yeah, new tactics, new strategies, you're mine.
Oh, someone just hit the door.
Is that raccoons again up there?
Yeah.
No.
I think it might be neighbor Frank. He passed out in the bush.
Nope. You know what? I think that's our paper boy.
Playing Mega Man 5, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. We got a new issue. Milford, Iowa. An Iowa man lost his job and unemployment benefits for using a forklift to get a candy bar from a malfunctioning vending machine, state records say. According to state unemployment records released last month, Robert McKivitt, age 27 of Spirit Lake, Iowa, was working at Polaris Industries warehouse in Milford when the incident occurred last fall. McKivitt wanted some candy, and he deposited $1 into a vending machine for a 90-cent Twix candy bar.
That is way too much
That's way
to pay
too
for
much.
a fucking Twix.
The Des Moines Register reported, but the candy bar got snagged on a hook. You know, we've all been there. And wouldn't fall. We've all been there, and we've done what we could, and it says this man, he banged it, and he rocked it, but nothing worked. That's from the news. He banged it, he rocked it.
He hung and he bunged.
Nothing worked. The state record said that McKivitt then commandeered a forklift, picked up the machine at least 6 times, and dropped it about 2 feet onto the concrete floor until 3 candy bars fell.
Good.
That's enterprise.
Yeah. McKivitt was fired 3 days later. Quote, "That machine was trouble," McKivitt said. "They've fired me, and now I hear they have all new vending machines there." End quote. In a ruling released last month, the judge denied McKivitt's claim for unemployment benefits, saying he willfully disregarded his employer's interests.
See, all these judges are on the fucking take now, man.
Yep.
It's as bad as like the fucking 1890s or something.
Yeah. The stench from the bench.
It really is.
Uh-huh.
We need like a new like Louis Brandeis or something. You can,
But I just think this guy, it's a fantasy wish fulfillment almost, because everybody, I'm sure, has had a candy bar get stuck on the hook.
I've always
and
wanted to shoot the thing.
Yeah, your only recourse is to put in more money and get the same thing in hopes that, it won't happen again. And this man has taken it to the next level. He's got a forklift, picked up the goddamn machine, and dropped it until he got 3 candy bars instead of just 1.
If he only got out 1 candy bar, do you think he would have gotten fired? Because he got 3 out, which is technically stealing.
technically-
Well, I don't think it was the stealing. I think it was dropping the machine on its stomach that did it.
Yeah, well, I think that he used the forklift for that.
He commandeered.
Yeah, but that's the
I have
thing.
a problem
He-
with the word commandeer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
in that
must have had
situation.
to ask what he was. They must have asked him what he was using it for.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I feel like he almost had to have been
Did
a,
he, like,
a forklift operator.
Was there
to-
like because when they say commandeer, it makes it seem like there's a guy in the forklift and like threw him out and was like, I need this, I need this.
Like
and
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, exactly. Or like a cop show or something.
I was
Right.
thinking almost like a World War II movie, like the Germans or something. We need your forklift now,
Yeah.
and they just take it. You know?
The stench from the bench, indeed.
Stole that line from Michael Savage. Have you ever listened to Michael Savage?
Is he related to Randy?
Unfortunately, I've heard him once.
He is the craziest of the conservative commentators. Like, he is the absolute craziest. I've literally heard him before get so angry that he just goes, "Why don't you take your liberal sandals to the beard store?" Like that.
Obama just came out and supported homosexual marriage. He did it on Always Bolshevik Communications, ABC.
Michael Savage, like, defiantly lives in San Francisco.
Doesn't he have like a goatee? So he probably
Yeah.
does shop at the beard store.
Well, as George Carlin said, he doesn't have a beard. Lennon had a beard. He has whiskers.
Oh,
But yeah, no, he lives in San Francisco, which he's just like, Michael Savage coming to you from San Francisco.
wait,
And
so,
he's
whoa,
like-
whoa. Hold on. Michael Savage. He used to be tight with Bill Burrows. And they
Yeah.
used to like,
Because his name was Dr. Alan Weiner.
Yeah.
And Dr. Michael Alan Weiner, and he is in addition to being an insane conservative commentator,
Yeah.
he is also like an herbal holistic healer, which the strength of a conservative commentator is not necessarily his opinions on conservative issues. It's what he did in the previous life.
Yeah.
And Savage is great because he's an herbal healer. So half of his calls, he'll get half a call like, well, Obama's a space Muslim who, is
Yeah.
also a lizard man. And then the other half of his calls are because he's written like 25 books about herbal healing before he did the conservative commentator thing. So people will call and be like, well, I read your book about doing the charcoal pills and the garlic pills, and they're working real good. And I'm wondering if I should add fish oil to that. And he's just like, and he's just been screaming about the government. He's like, oh yeah, that's the only way to go, fish oil, and just yells about that.
because him and Bill Burrows used to do like naked like sweat lodge trips together and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Like they
What
they
the
were probably like a couple.
Right.
Well, is that why he stays in San Francisco?
I guess so.
Well, no, it's because he likes boating. That's why he's just like the only
There's
thing.
ocean in a lot of places.
Yeah.
I know.
But he's great. The other one I really like, and again, it's the same thing, is this guy Jerry Doyle. And Jerry Doyle is great because he's a conservative commentator.
Right.
But he was also on Babylon 5.
Okay.
He'll take these calls where, again, it's people just being like, Obama's evil. And then the next guy going like, in season 2, episode 5, you had a scene, and he'll fucking indulge them. He'll actually
Yeah.
be like, oh, that was so much fun. I love the director, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it was written by blah blah blah, who wrote the classic Star Trek episode.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah.
Right. He'll actually indulge them, which is great.
Yeah, y'all remember the Power Team?
Yeah. Oh, dude, the Power Team.
Oh,
came
where they
to
ripped
my-
the phone
Yeah,
books?
the Power
Yeah,
Team
of course.
came to my middle school. I used to
Yeah,
have a
I
bit
think
about
I saw.
that.
I think I saw.
How
them.
are they supposed to turn you on to Jesus by ripping up phone books and chopping wood and shit like that? That's
Well,
the one
no,
thing I
it's
never
the
understood.
power. It's like it was one of two things. One, they said they had the power of God in them. So because superstar Billy Graham used to do this. So it's like they have the power of God, and it puts them in a state to like do these sorts of things.
Like Kanye.
Exactly. Or the other thing was that they try to get your attention, and it's like spiritually you can be just as powerful if you have God in your life. But since I went to a public school, they couldn't use God, so they had to say positive thinking. But it was the Power Team.
Yeah, no, the Power Team was a trip. Remember when it was on Walker, Texas Ranger?
Yes, I remember that episode distinctly.
Walker, Texas Ranger was one of those sleeper shows of the '90s that nobody
it's
really
amazing.
remembers.
Yeah,
now.
but it was one that was heavily watched on CBS.
Yeah, it was heavily watched by grandmothers too.
Yeah. My mom watched Walker, Texas.
My grandma
Ranger.
watched it every Saturday.
Yeah, I know.
My absolute favorite ending for an episode of Walker. It might be my favorite ending for anything that's ever happened on TV. Is there's an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger. Plays out like any other episode of the show. Like there's a judge that gets kidnapped, and they're on horses, and there's guys with guns, and a barn explodes. Blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. They rescue the judge, right? And
That was a good summary.
you know what I mean?
That was pretty much every episode.
Yeah, it's every episode. Yeah, so they rescue the judge, and the judge he's like a writer too. In addition to being a judge, I guess he's like the John Grisham of judges. But the judge is like he gets rescued, and then it's like 6 months later, and they're sitting in CD's bar, and they're going, the book that the judge wrote about our experiences is being turned into a movie. And they're all like, wow, really? It's becoming a movie. That's crazy. So it cuts to Trevette, Walker's partner.
By the way, how many times has Trevette been shot in episode?
Dude, Trevette's,
Trevette has
tons of bullets.
Yeah, Trevette must have been shot at least 50 times throughout the course of that show.
Wasn't it always in the arm?
Arm or,
he has faced
other
off
side
with
of the
death.
chest.
He's faced off with death many times.
Yeah. But they're talking about the book, and they're like, oh, this book is being turned into a movie, right? And Trevette goes, hey, CD, who would play you in the movie? And CD goes, oh, well, Paul Newman. And they're like, Paul Newman, get out of here, CD. You're too ugly. And then they're like, what about you, Alex? Who would play you? And she goes, oh, well, I don't know, maybe Helen Hunt. And they're like, oh, Alex. What about you, Jimmy? And Trevette goes, I don't know, Denzel Washington? And they're like, oh, wow, and you get Denzel Washington. Wow. Hey, what about you, Walker? Who would play you? And he goes, I don't know. I don't really get into this sort of thing. And Trevette goes, hey, wait a minute. I know. Chuck Norris. And
You can see it coming, but it's so worthwhile.
It's so good. And then he goes, and then Walker says, but Trevette, Chuck Norris is a 9-time karate champion. And then they all laugh, and it freeze frame executive producer Chuck Norris. But what that means, what that sets up is that in the universe, Walker and Chuck Norris coexist in the universe.
Yeah.
Well, that's usually the way. Like, remember the time that Fred Sanford met Red Fox?
Yeah.
It was a shitty episode.
Yeah.
They did like one of those Patty Duke show things, so they could have two Fred Sanfords there. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's typical
But
on TV
that
shows.
means that they gotta fight. That's like a fight that never resolved, like Walker and Chuck Norris.
But
That's
Chuck
awesome.
Norris was a 9-time karate champion.
Yeah.
How many times did Cordell Walker win?
By the way, the last Walker Texas Ranger movie, Trial by Fire, just ends with Alex Cahill being murdered, and it's never been resolved. It's just hanging.
Alf ended on a cliffhanger, too.
That's right.
That was a stench from the bench in that Walker episode.
Yep. Bigfoot, bigger dent.
Bigger dick. Big
I was
dick.
waiting for
He just trips over forwards. We have an imprint of a giant dick that we've.
I'm happy you picked that up and not me because I was thinking it,
Bigfoot, bigger dent. Kalispell, Montana. A man trying to create a Bigfoot hoax on a highway died after being hit by 2 cars.
See, that was the righteous vengeance of God for mocking Bigfoot. Because Bigfoot, sure as you're born, is real. You understand?
Randy Lee Tinley, dressed in a ghillie suit, camouflage designed to resemble heavy foliage, stepped out onto Highway 93 Sunday night.
I think we have the only program where probably most of the listeners know what a ghillie suit is.
Yeah.
That's true.
But Bigfoot doesn't look like a big bush.
No, but at night all you need is the profile.
Yeah.
So it gives you a vaguely monstrous shape, and all you're going to see is the shadow and the imagination.
But they could have thought it was like a Frykin or something like that.
Well, if they're really up on local mythology or whatever. But you see something big in the woods at night, it's Bigfoot. Bigfoot is fucking real. Let's face it, it's fucking fact. Bigfoot. There's plenty of fucking evidence for your Bigfoot. Jane Goodall, who was the expert with the chimps.
Benedict Foot.
Ex-Benedict Bigfoot. Jane Goodall, who is the expert with the chimps, has said that it's possible there could be a Bigfoot, but nobody believe in Bigfoot. But everybody believes in the Loch Ness Monster, which has been proved to be phony many times over. The photos are fake. There's nothing in that loch.
Yeah.
But who knows what's up in the Pacific Northwest somewhere.
Let's see. He stepped out on Highway 93 Sunday night. Quote, he probably would not have been very easy to see at all, said Jim Schneider, a state trooper. A 15-year-old girl hit him with her car. Another swerved, and a third car driven by a 17-year-old ran him over.
Wow, so
Why
two
15-year-olds
teenagers had to get home.
driving?
Dad, I
Yeah.
wrecked the car. It was Bigfoot. It was like,
I
you were
remember
drinking, weren't you?
Bigfoot.
You were
You're
drinking.
never going to believe this, Dad.
It was Bigfoot.
Bullshit.
You're smoking them marijuana pills.
You've been smoking mangy-wangy. Let's see.
He was wearing a ghillie suit, so he shouldn't have been seen in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's if he's in the woods, but once you cross the street, it becomes a different
I'm
issue.
just using dad humor, all right?
And this is the saddest little addendum to the story. Basically,
Did he die?
Oh yeah, he died.
See, that the wrath of God is upon. In Galatians, it says God is not mocked, and neither is Bigfoot. So don't you dare try to imitate the pinnacle of God's creation, which is the Sasquatch, or the righteous vengeance of God will come down on you.
The last line of this is the saddest line. Authorities received no calls from drivers thinking they had seen Bigfoot. So he was out there all night.
That's sad.
Run the fuck over by 2 teenagers, died, and no one was fooled.
That's like when a girl goes to the pool and she loses the top of her swimsuit and nobody notices.
So don't play hopscotch near any old tree crotch until that old watch stealing, big feeling, hopscotch and Sasquatch is found.
I'm Rivers Langley. I'm Pat Riley. And I'm good at goes in the woods at
When did you turn into Cowabunga?
Cowabunga. Let's break some birds, dude. All right, man. Ken Wayne, Nightmare Ross. I'm going to bring you down into that sewer, my friend. I'm going to dip you in that water, and then I'm going to beat the shell out of you, turtle style, my friend. They had a wrestler that was a Ninja Turtle in Memphis for a while.
And then he
was called
became
Cowabunga.
Yoshi Kwan, which was...
But the best thing about him was they had to pretend like he had legit skills.
Yeah.
It's like, 'cause remember Ken Wayne comes up to him,
You can really wrestle, brother. I'm proud of you, friend.
all right, Ken Wayne, Nightmare, awesome.
Let me tell you something.
Remember, he's like, let's break some birds, dude. And so he takes out these 2 paint cans and a gimmick board beside them. And he smacks one of them and the gimmick board falls apart. And fucking Dave Brown sells it like nothing went wrong. Like, oh, you slapped that board beside his hand and it just popped. He's selling it like he's so
Yeah,
powerful.
dude, I just broke that board, man.
He breaks a little fucking board.
Let's
on
eat
the
some
paint
pizzas,
can.
dude.
And then fucking Jeff Gaylord comes out and starts a fight with him. He goes, those little boards don't fight back. And then anyway, the other thing I remember Cowabunga's those insert promos they would do for like Louisville and places like that. And there's one of them with Cowabunga and Bill Dundee, and he calls him Kayabunga. Got my friend Kayabunga with me. Jimbo.
Yeah, dude, you mispronounced my name, man.
That's not cool, dude.
Weren't you in the Bay City Rollers?
He kept wearing that fucking Bay City Rollers hair and that Elvis jumpsuit well into the 80s when it was not yet longer fashionable.
Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoodspod, twitter.com/thegoodspod. And if you have any questions for Mr. Goodnight, it's thegoodspod@gmail.com. And we'll see you next week.
We love you.
Split Sider.
We love it. Yeah, big ups to Split Sider. Thank you. See you next time. The Goods from the Woods is mixed and edited by me, Rivers Langley, and distributed by Westcast Network. Our theme song is composed by DJ Smiles. You can find him online at djsmiles.net.